We have two more examples to do for our notes. So we have a fraction inside of parentheses, and then we have an exponent on the outside. So when you have an exponent on the outside, it's like this, where you have to send it in. So we're going to send it in to every single term on top and on bottom. So I'll start out with 2, -2. Then send it into the m. So it's m to the -2. Send it into the end of the 6. Whenever you send it in, it's like this, where we multiply our exponents. So far, we haven't had any exponents, so we just put the -2 on them. But if we do have an exponent, we're going to multiply those. So we're going to multiply 6 times a -2, -12. Then we have to send it in to the denominator. So m to the third power, we're going to multiply the 3 times the -2, -6. And then to the n and to the -2. We're not going to do anything with the negative exponents as far as putting them in the calculator. What we first need to do is make them positive exponents, and then we can do stuff with the calculator. So do not put that in the calculator. Instead, make that a positive exponent by putting it on the denominator. So it's now 2 to the +2. So I'm going to move this one down. I got to move this one down also because it's to the -2 power. So it's going to become m to the +2. And then, so I've dealt with that one. I need to deal with this one. N to the -12. That's going to go on bottom to make it a +12 exponent. I moved all of the ones on top because they were all negative. Now all the ones on bottom to become positive have to be moved to the top. And you just change them to positives. All right, so I'm going to rewrite. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 squared now. Now that it is a positive exponent, now we can do it. I don't want you putting in 2 to the -2 in your calculator. Instead, I want you to move it and then do 2 squared. And that comes out to be 4. Then we need to gather all of our like bases, so all of our m's. When we divide like bases, this is the rule. Look over here. The rule says subtract your exponents. So it's going to be m to the 6 minus 2. And then n, gather up your n's. Same thing. We're dividing, so we have to subtract 2 minus 12. And I'm writing all the steps down. Whenever you get a little better at this, you won't have to write all the steps down, but I want them in your notes where all the steps are written. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and simplify the exponents. So 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 minus 12 is -10. And then our 4 remains in the bottom. Because it's 2 minus 12. Now we're going to move it to the bottom because you can't have a negative exponent. So everything stays the same, but the answer on the bottom becomes a positive. So remember how I said I'm writing every step down? So if you get to a point where you're like, I know that's a -10, so I can go ahead and skip this step and write it here, that's fine. I'm just showing you every step so you see where it all comes from. So anytime you get a negative exponent, it'll end up being moved from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. So this is kind of like a puzzle. There's lots of pieces. If you just look at all the pieces, it's really overwhelming. But if you just take it one step at a time, it gets a little easier. So step 1 would be to send the exponent in. Step 2, move negative exponents. Step 3, subtract them if you're dividing, and then move any negative exponents again. So just one step at a time. Our STAR EOC reference chart actually has these rules on there. So you don't have to memorize the rules. You can always just look at your reference chart. So look right here. It tells you all the rules. See how whenever you multiply, you add exponents. Divide, subtract. Power to a power, multiply. We haven't learned the rational exponent yet. This one, anytime you have a negative exponent, you put it on the bottom. So all of those rules are on your formula chart. All right, let's do this last example. We have a 4 on the outside. So we have to send it into everything and rewrite. Go ahead and do that. It's a Q. So we send it to everything on the top. And then send it to everything on the bottom. Go ahead and write it down. So you send it in, that's step 1. Step 2 is deal with any negative exponents. We only have one. Everything else is going to stay the same. I'm just going to move that P to the 8 at the bottom, and it becomes positive. And the order actually doesn't matter whenever you multiply. So I put it out front, but it doesn't matter. You wrote it P12, Q20, P8, that's fine. You don't have to erase it. Now we're going to gather up all of our like bases. P's are actually on the bottom together. Yes, add them because we're multiplying. So it's this rule right here. Multiplying, you add your exponents. So the bottom is going to have P20. And then gather up your Q's. This has the line between it's being divided. So we got to subtract our exponents. 2, 16 minus 20. R doesn't have anything, so just rewrite it. It's 16 minus 20. Negative 4. Q, negative 4. R4. P20. But you can't leave it with a negative. So where does this Q go? Yeah, so it's Q4. Remember, order really doesn't matter. Usually the way they have their answers written, though, is in alphabetical order. So I should actually have these reversed. P, Q, R, S, T. Bless you. All right, so it goes like that. Either answer is going to be okay. But the way it's usually written is alphabetical order. All right, so you're going to glue this in the next page and then the blue filled one in the following page. Make sure you finish delta math and the maze.